teach your young people to focus on the first couple of steps. You run the entire thing, but don't focus on the outcomes because you can't control who buys or who doesn't buy. You focus on the upfront, the activities that control it. It's a much more stoic approach, and it works because it removes the highs and lows of, hey, I had this great case. Oh, they said no. That whipsawing that people get, that roller coaster of emotions, which burns people out in the business in the first few years. Get them to focus on the activity. How many appointments did you schedule this week? How many appointments did you keep? How many introductions did you get? How many fact finders? Because if they understand their sales cycle, their sales process, and understand these things you control, these things are the flow through from it, and you can tweak along each of the individual steps. And that's one of the things that recording your numbers and looking at your ratios lets you do. If you can do that up front, then stuff's going to come on out. It's a natural process. Oh, dude, I love this idea. You got me all geeked up. All right, I'm ready to like throw on my coat and we can run this one.
I think we've already started recording it. This has already started. Now, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's Sam's 10-Minute Tuesdays. Because the topic got Joe so excited, and we hit the button first. So we're going to start out with some of the Joe's comments. I knew that he would. Okay, pardon my French, but I said I said, Joe, you're going to go apeshit on this topic, and he did.
I haven't even put on my coat. Okay, so. Please, I apologize to our listeners and people watching this that I'm not in my full uniform like I normally would be, but leading versus lagging indicators is what Mickey wants to talk about here. Mickey, start the clock so that we don't run too far over, by the way. And so, all the managers are focused on what does it say on the production sheets? How much did you sell? How many new clients did you get? And that is the outcome of things. And as the Stoics teach us, you can't control the outcomes. We can control our process. We can control our decisions. A financial advisor, financial rep, agent, whatever you want to talk about, anybody who's selling a product or service should focus on their process and their upfront activities. How many introductions did you get? Because if you don't have any people to call, you're not going to get any sales. If you have a lot of people to call, you can have a lot of upfront activity, and it moves through the system. Think of it like a snake eating a rat or something. You see that move on through, okay? And with most situations, they eat one rat and it goes on through, and they just have, this one bulk thing. Whereas if you want to have a sustainable growing organization, they need to keep eating, focus on that up front, make sure stuff's going out, and you're going to grow a much bigger snake in that scenario. So focus on the upfront activity. How many introductions are you getting? Management should be asking every single day. How many times did you pick up the phone? Okay, how many people did you reach and all that? So the ratios between each of these steps is where skill set development is indicated. Tweaking, making sure that the process is running as efficiently as possible. But if you're not putting stuff into the front of the process, the leading indicators of how many introductions are you getting, how many appointments are you keeping, being the two biggest ones, lagging indicators. Oh, you might have gotten a sale or not, but you're not going to have predictable results. You're not going to have repeatable results unless you're doing the upfront stuff. It's dependent on luck as opposed to process and predictability. So control those things up front. Then, how many new appointments are you keeping? How many introductions are you getting per appointment? Hey, there's a skill set issue that can be addressed, but it's the process. It's the leading indicators. How many fact finders did you get this month? There's a reason why most of the big career shops are telling their new reps, you need 20 to 25 fact finders per month. You might get a big sale out of being lucky. It always happens. But you know what? I can't tell you the number of times I saw somebody get a six-figure premium in their first year and be out of the business by their second or third year, simply because they didn't have the activity. Their leading indicators were absolute garbage. But hey, they look great on the production sheets because they got lucky on one case with grandma or grandpa, or their mom is managing partner of the law firm or what have you. So they looked really good for that moment, but they could not keep it up. They could not sustain because they didn't have the process, and they didn't keep focusing on their leading indicators and adding more introductions in, and you taking them through and learning to be a business owner and a professional, as opposed to a lucky salesperson. They basically hit the lottery.
Yeah, that's the beauty of activity management. You need to be able to track those numbers, make sure you get enough in the pipeline, kind of top of funnel stuff. And but even still, all of our reports, or most of our reports throughout the years, are what have you done in the past, knowing that if you what we reap what we sow, right? So
Yep.
if you make the calls, make the contacts, set the appointments, do the fact finders, you have some numbers in the pipeline. Well, we added, thanks to one of my good friends in the business, John O'Neill with American National, he made a big deal out of, hey, we need more leading indicators. So we actually built something into our site, our SAM suite, that actually projects, okay, projected sales, boom, what it is, or I should say potential sales, and then potential revenue, and then projected likelihood of closing. And based on likelihood of closing, this is how much money you have in the pipeline. Let's say it's $20,000, but you only have an average of a 75%. You're estimating your likelihood for purchasing. We only have $15,000 coming in. So at least then you have leading indicators. You have projections. You can update your projections and go, you know what? This is how much money I'm going to have based on all this activity I've done in the past. So it's leading versus lagging indicators. And
I love that. That is great. And I'm grateful that you're putting like some dashboards around it to project it, because this is what new reps and new managers need to understand. It's what you're doing today that's going to bear results, bear fruit in 6 to 9 weeks because of the sales cycle. So I have young reps that I mentored and like, oh, I didn't make any money today. I'm like, okay, so you didn't get a sale today. That's fine. How many introductions did you get? I got 4. Okay, every introduction to you is worth on average $100. So you made $400 today.
Right.
Okay, as long as you process those introductions, on average today was a $400 day. How does that feel? That feels a little bit better.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what are you doing tomorrow to process the introductions you got today? You're going to phone them and all that. And how are you going to get introductions tomorrow so that next week you're seeing these clients, and 2 weeks after that you're closing them and writing the applications, and 4 weeks after that you're delivering the applications or the policies and getting paid. What are you doing today and this week to do what you need to do to run that process? And it's a very engineering approach in some ways, but knowing that you're doing the right things today, focusing on every introduction is worth $100. So I'm going out and getting $500 today, come hell or high water, I get my 5 introductions, and then I'm going to pick up the phone and put them into the process. That is where faith needs to come into play in some ways. Faith in the process, trust the process. And managers need to stop looking at the production sheets as the trailing indicator of what's happened from luck or what have you, and focus on what are you doing in terms of your activities and how do we manage them so that you can produce. Because remember, Mickey, sales is an activity game, and introductions let you win that game every single day.
Got to focus on the process, leading and lagging indicators. Let's focus on leading indicators, everybody, because that's what ultimately helps you, make money, be successful, and not just look in the past. They say, well, I'll close with the one saying that a jet pilot doesn't have a rear view mirror.
Beautiful.
Focus on the future. Thanks,
Focus
Joe.
on the future. Fly fast, my friend.
See you again next week. Next time, wear a jacket.